Alright, today we're going to talk about Sanford. Some people know it as double beat, others as double triple. No matter what the name, it doesn't change the fact that it's the most overlooked and underestimated weapon in a drummer's arsenal. If applied correctly, not only can it improve your double stroke quality in any passage with a double stroke in it, but also and primarily anything with a double stroke roll. Let's start by taking a look at the counts of the exercise. The first two. 1E, a 2. As you'll notice, the second note of the second double lines up right with the met, or right with your right foot. So that's a good way to line up exactly what rhythm you're playing to make sure you're playing it perfectly in time right off the bat. The second two doubles are and-a, E and. Alright, so in those two doubles, this is the first time you hear from the met that little click in between the two doubles, which just kind of establishes that groove you should feel whenever you play the exercise. The last part that almost every drummer forgets is 4 and 1, the simplest part of the entire exercise, which is usually rushed. Consequently, you usually tick the left hand on the next measure. Now, one common misconception about double beat is that it's this one wrist rotation and then your stick bounces, letting the drum do the rest. Problem with that is you always hear about the second note sound quality problem. It's too weak. You want to make sure you're taking two full velocity strokes, two full strokes. If you take a look back at the 8 on a hand video, you can learn how to play an exact velocity stroke. It's just two of those. Once you've done that, we can move on. Now that you're ready to do that, it's essentially the first two notes of 8 on a hand, just a lot faster. Make sure you end the second stroke of each double the same as the first, allowing the stick to rebound back to the height you started at. Best way to practice that is to start up and end up. Make sure you stop your stick at the same height every time. It's okay if the stick floats while you're waiting to place your next velocity stroke, but don't mistake float as freeze. There should be close to no tension at the top of the stroke. It's only at the beginning of both strokes in the double beat that there's a quick burst of energy, one following another, after you stop your stick at the desired height. The burst on the right hand comes mainly from the fulcrum and accompanied by the wrist. The main focus should be around your middle finger, as that's a really good rotation point for this exercise. On the left hand, it also comes from the wrist, but most of the pressure comes from the webbing in between your thumb. You should be able to play double beat with just this, no grip on the hand at all. Now when you place your fingers on the stick, you want to maintain the same wrist turn. Completely relax your bottom two fingers and your middle finger, and only apply pressure with that burst of energy in the top of the fulcrum. Start at a tempo that is so slow it's actually difficult to play well. Still maintaining maximum velocity for the best rhythm possible, and keep an eye on those checkpoints. Dig for sound. No one said double beat should be easy. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, you want to make sure at faster tempos that your notes don't get weaker as you get faster. You really want to primarily think about that second note sound quality, making sure that you're rebounding both notes, especially the second. So when you get faster, you're still rebounding each note. The second half of this exercise is the triple beat section. This part is considerably easier time-wise, but considerably harder while maintaining 3 full velocity strokes. Try to break this down nice and slow and see if you're rebounding every note. This should feel exactly the same as the double beat technique, it's just 3 notes and requires a little more energy. One last little trick to think about while playing this full exercise is that if you ever have trouble grooving, try tapping off the exercise on the offbeat. That way you get that click that you usually get 3 doubles in right away. Alright, the second thing you can do for the triple beat version is, since it's 1E and, that means that the third note is going to line up right with the metronome while playing it on the offbeat to make sure that your 3s are in time.